Welcome to reading the New Testament in original Greek. We're reading now Matthew chapter 2, verse 16. Τότε Ηρώδης ειδών ότι ενεπέχθη υπό το μάγον, ετοιμώθη λίαν, και αποστήλας ανήλεν πάντας τους πέδας τους εν Βηθλεέμ, και εν πάσιν τις ορίες αυτής αποδιέτους και κατώτερο κατά των χρόνων ον εκρύβωσεν παρά το μάγον. When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, he was infuriated, and he sent and killed all the children in and around Bethlehem, who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had learned from the wise men. Now the text begins with the τότε, then. Ηρώδης is a nominative. It's most likely the subject of something. Now we have after ειδών, and a participle in a nominative singular, right? Most likely you can take a guess and say, this may be connected to ειδών, which is the case actually we have here. Ειδών, nominative singular, and a participle from orao. Orao is the verb to see. And we talked about this one is in an aorist form. Idou we have seen many times in an imperative, behold, watch, and ειδών is the participle. On, usa, on, right? Ειδών, having seen. Who has seen it? It's a Herod. Now, it's a circumstantial participle you can translate within the context. For example, when Herod saw, it would be the bit of dramatic, making the situation a bit of drama. You can also see after Herod saw, or as Herod saw. Well, even though Herod saw doesn't actually make sense in here. Having seen, oti, is the oti leads the dependent clause, the what follows, right? Having seen that, enepechthi. Enepechthi is from the verb the embezo. Now the me, it's the part of the assimilations. Then it starts actually from the ni, en peso, but it becomes, because of the p, became m, me, en peso. Now when it's changed with the augment, then it restores its original forms. There's no reason to be assimilated anymore. So that's why enepechthi, ene, okay? Enepechthi, we see theta, then it's most likely it's what? Passive. And from the embezo, now we have in an aorist forms enepexan, right? With augment and epsilon, and also with sigma, enepexan. And an aorist and passive tends to be with the weaker sounds. From the guttural is aspirata, it's called he, right? And epechthi. Now, embezo means to be fooled, to be ridiculed. Okay, so he was tricked that we had in an NRSV and English versions. Now, to be fooled by someone. Now we have a human agent, or agent simply for the passive. Let's explain with the ipo. Now, ipo usually interpreted in this way with passive. So when you see passive and an ipo, you can make the connections together. Ipotomagon with the genitive, by the wise men. So he was fooled by the wise men. Now sentence there, finished. Dependent clause from oti until magon. Make the parenthesis over there. And Ηρώδης ειδών, after Herod saw that he was fooled by the wise men. Now we have again Timothy. This is the main verb of the whole sentence, 16, and the 16a. Timothy from the verb thimo, to be angry. Okay, we have to be infuriated. Now, ethimothi with the theta, you see there, and it's translated as in a passive. It's in the passive forms. Ethimothi, argument, and theta makes it in passive forms. And also we have a vocal stretch in the middle, ethimothi, right? Themo, the omicron became omega. And the the with the eta, right, it's a third person singular. Ethimothi, making connecting the same subject. He got angry, so to speak. He was infuriated. Lian is simply without word declensions or any changes. Lian, greatly, extremely. So he was infuriated extremely. Now, que apostilas. Apostilas is from the verb apostello, stelo. Now, what you can see in the verbal changes, double lambda became one lambda. This is a feature there. And also, this is not always, it doesn't always happen with epsilon iota, becomes a simple iota falls off, but it's often, okay? So that could be one of the feature as well. Steleo is a future form. Estila. Now from estila, we have apostila. Apostilas in the verse 16b. But what's interesting here is in the aorist form in an active, and the last one aorist form in passive. Both doesn't have sigma. Right? Sigma is usually the key, the thematic vocal that you can recognize it. This is an aorist, but this one doesn't have sigma. Try to remember with the stelo. One lambda and no sigma. From the estila. Now we have apostilas without augmentations. Why? Because we have participle. Participle doesn't require augment. Augments are only in indicative, right? So apostilas, as. You remember sas, sasasan? Sas, sasasan is an aorist and a participle in an active case. Now as, we talked about it, there's no sigma. That's why it's simply as, asa, an. Now it's a nominative and a masculine. Apostilas, having sent. Right? Anilen. Anilen is from the verb anereo. Ereo itself means to take away. With an or ana means up. Well, it has a various meaning, but try to explain something that makes sense. Now, take away or take up. Okay, here, anereo means to annihilate or to destroy. You take up something that you remove it from the place where it existed. What if you see ereo with a katereo as a union Greek, so katereo, it means take down. Kata means, and you will see also nakato, nakata means down. Katereo means take down. Anereo means take up or take away. Okay, so from the ereo, we have a verbal change erizo, ilon. It changes a bit and drastically, like fero we have seen. So try to remember separately, memorize it. Ilon, irica, irime, irethin. What's interesting is that there is an iota subscriptum. Why? Because alpha with the iota, what's a vocal stretch became an eta, but the iota survived and becomes a part of the eta. Now they have a eta with the iota subscriptum. So erizo and an aorist ilon. Now from there, ilon, we have on as n, third person singular. Anilen, Now, he destroyed or he executed pantas, all τους παιδάς, all the all the children. Excuse me, it's in the plural. All children's. Now, τους παιδάς, τους, and something that, it's without a specific noun. All, there are a couple ways that you can put an adjective in a τους pantas pedas. Well, it's use of pantas, τους pedas. Also here, τους and a τους that follows indicates that what follows is connected to the first τους pedas. And in the sense, it's all connected, right? So anilen, to get rid of, to take up, to remove, to take away. Pantas τους pedas, all the children. Tous, all the children. Who are the children? In Bethlehem. In Bethlehem. And in pasin, in all these ories, from the noun orion, the reason. So all the reasons, all the reasons of these, her reasons. Why? Because Bethlehem we have. So Bethlehem, usually the city is in a feminine form, so that's of these. So all the reasons of Bethlehem. That's what we have in English translations, in and around, right? And all the her reasons. Apo, from, the τους. Now, as these plus etos. Now, etos is there's some other tricky words that kind of get easily get confused with, but I won't explain it. That it just makes it the parts longer. But etos, it's the ear. So these two ear. Now to etos, and this one changes with the third declension changes. That's a sigma stem. Etos in genitive, etus. Now this is the third declension os e a, but the to in a neutral case, the nominative and accusative is the same, right? So to etos, tu etus, to eti. Then again, same, to etos in an accusative. Now, what's interesting is in the sigma stems, before the ending epsilon sigma s is added there. So that's why with sigma falls off in an o, epsilon with the omicron becomes in a contractions. The contract the rules becomes u etus. Now it's the same in the third dative, third declension dative too. Now this one is all applies to the name, the proper names. Irodis, Irodus, Irodi, right? And Socrates, Socratus, Socrati. Now try to contract yourself to when you have times later. Okay, so the these, it's from the these and etus. Now etus is a genitive form. Apo plus a genitive now we have. From 2 ears and katotero. Now kato means under. Now ter, it's the comparative forms, making a comparative, more down. And the omega at the end, it's forms that change from adjective to adverb. We talked about in a previous session. Katotero, more down, meaning under the 2 ears. Kataton chronon on ekrivosen. Now, kataton chronon, you can make the parenthesis over there, on, taking that, all kataton chronon is taking as an accusative case. And akrivosen, it's again the verb of the relative clause, the dependent clause after on. Now, paratomagon, you can parenthesize this all together. Now, kata is a preposition. Preposition usually have a lot of different meanings, but I'm trying to give the often what is translated as. Now, kata, we have the plus accusative, according to. And a genitive, well, it could be from, okay, or against. Now, later after we para, we talked about it, we'll talk again soon. So kataton, an accusative, according to the time, chronon. Which time? On. Igrivosen, akrivo, to learn exactly. Right? He learned exactly from, para, according, and or from, para ton magon, from the wise men. So the time that he learned exactly from the wise men. Okay, I hope that this clears, excuse me, this clarifies all the verse 16. If you have questions, please leave a comment, and I hope you have enjoyed this session. We'll look forward to our verse 17.